Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video.
Treyarch recently announced on Twitter that they were going to be re-releasing Black Ops 1 and 2 for PlayStation 4 and 5 consoles. This is a huge deal for PlayStation players because they have not been able to access these games since the PlayStation 3. While there has been the PC port and the Xbox 360 release that was backwards compatible with Series X and S, as well as Xbox One and other similar Xbox consoles, PlayStation fared rather differently when it came to games being released on the PS4 because, quite frankly, it didn't have backwards compatibility support for most games on the PS3. Ultimately, this culminated into PlayStation 4 players really wanting a way to play these old Call of Duty games in the modern day. If you keep up with the Call of Duty community, you'd probably know that the only real similar situation to this is like the MW remaster. All that being said, Call of Duty players on the PlayStation are really fed up with not being able to play these old games. The community itself has been really flip-floppy about this and very back and forth with it. Twitter debate has skyrocketed, and if you could even call it debating, it's basically just outrage. Best part of the reactions on Twitter right now are currently the fact that this is the most liked Treyarch tweet in history, going as far as to say it completely surpassed the MW4 reveal trailer, and pretty much all new media for the newest game. As for the Call of Duty community, this pretty much means that people, whether it be nostalgia, whether it be the fact that these games are just better, people want these games. People want to be able to play these games. People want other people playing these games. For many, many years now, these older games have faced issues with hacking, exploits, pretty much all of it. Even in the case of modern games, Call of Duty does not tend to support their games so much past a certain expiration date, in which a lot of their games tend to just fill up with hackers. Modern Warfare 2 2022, Call of Duty Cold War. These are newer games from the past couple of years that managed themselves to have tons of hackers in them and plenty of exploits that allow people to grab IPs, DDoS entire home internets. There are really thousands of ways that people can take over all of your information, everything. They can even inject their own exploits into your computer and take over. The fact that back in the day you could use these exploits on these older Call of Duty games built into consoles using injectors and really any method you wanted because there were so many, it should probably scare you a good deal that you're going to be able to play these games in modern day running on current gen hardware. I personally predict that this is more of a PS4 port that's going to have backwards compatibility from the PS5. I don't think that they'd want to go through all the work to port it to both consoles, but that's just my theory. Now, I'm going to talk about myself. Xbox players are predicted to receive absolutely nothing, which is really hard to believe. Despite the fact that Activision loves their money so much, this is pretty much only a PlayStation thing. I'm gonna say it again, but Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and 2 on the 360 versions that are backwards compatible on the Xbox Series X and S, as well as the Xbox One, still are full of hackers. You face hackers pretty much every other game, and if you're lucky enough to not find a hacker, you'll end up finding one later in a different lobby. These hackers tend to ruin every lobby they find, and they make the game worse for everybody. Twitter pretty much came to the conclusion that Call of Duty and Activision need to do something about their anti-cheat when these games re-release. Otherwise, you can kiss grinding camos with the boys goodbye, because every lobby is going to be full of hackers. Fear begins to set in once you realize that these games are not going to have any new features added to them. The chance that they're going to have an anti-cheat added, or at least upgraded in some way, is pretty likely because it would be unplayable otherwise, but we're not going to be receiving new features. If anything, I'd say there is a chance that we're receiving the PC graphics. That's it. You might be wondering, Watts, how do you even know anything at all, you stupid idiot? Kill yourself, dude. And you're right, I am a stupid idiot. Charlie Intel, a very popular Twitter account known for its leaks and information given about Call of Duty games in the past, they have direct connections to Activision, I believe, so this is pretty legit, posted a tweet on Twitter talking about how the new ports are going to have absolutely no new features or upgrades other than, you know, obviously the better performance. So this game is going to have absolutely no crossplay, no higher FPS, no change in FOV, which in my opinion still leaves room for them to use the PC graphics. You don't know what they're porting it from. This could be the PS3 version, but it could also be the PC version being ported over. Obviously, the PC version is the newest version of the game, and, well, you're not really going to be wanting to play it like under 720p, which these PS3 and Xbox 360 versions tend to get to. Activision would be foolish to not port the PC version. Charlie Intel was also gracious enough to inform us that the Xbox and PC versions of these games had their prices updated recently, base games being $40 each, with individual DLC dropped by $5 to $10, as well as the season pass being lowered to $30. This is pretty crazy news, as this shows us that they are actively changing their prices, Activision that is, in order to compensate possibly for these new ports that are going to be coming to the PlayStation 4 and 5, which which is awesome. A lot of you may be wondering, what's the difference between a port and being able to play it on my Xbox? You know what I mean? To that I say, I'm glad you asked, because there are a couple of things you need to know in preparation for these ports. Once again, I said ports. These are ports, but they're going to be hopefully featuring a brand new anti-cheat and new security systems that are going to allow them to last a lot longer than these older games. They could also have new servers, which they said is going to be a thing, and that would make it run better.
Back to the hacker thing.
Consoles themselves have had a lot of work done in order to prevent these kinds of things over the years. And the fact that this is going to be running natively on PlayStation 4, that's pretty powerful. It's a huge jump compared to the PS3, which was very easily able to inject files into it. I mean, heck, the Xbox 360 had a whole system where you could literally put files from your computer into your Xbox. Tell me that was smart. In my opinion, and this is something I care a lot about, but basically, video games in the modern day have the chance of going away at any point and being completely forgotten, dead, whatever you want to call it. They get erased, and I think it's very important to preserve media. We need to hold on to these games, especially for the campaigns, because their campaigns are classic, bro. Think about how many people play PlayStation games, or how many, children there are, because there's a lot of children that play Call of Duty. Who cares? There are tons of people that have never gotten the chance to experience these old games, and probably never will unless they're ported like this. That's how you end up with LARPers that say their favorite Call of Duty is MW19. Thankfully for everybody involved, these games are not being ported by Treyarch. Activision actually went out of their way to source a different studio known for their ports. This is Iron Galaxy Studios, and they are literally known for ports. Which is a good thing, because if it was Treyarch making this, it would suck! This is really important for these ports, because if it were created by people who are internally lost on what these games are even supposed to be, and they're the ones in charge of these ports, we could end up with a remaster that's completely unfaithful to the original project if they get so lost on it, you know what I mean? Not to say that a remaster would be bad, but you'd end up with a bundle shop and a bunch of other stuff you don't want, and quite frankly, I think a port is the best way to preserve these games, especially when they haven't been available on these consoles before. Eat my butt.
Now for the rapid fire section.
Is the price guaranteed? No, you might get the discount for loyalty like you do with MW4 if you get the Vault Edition. Or you might get a bundle for both games. You might register that you already had it on PlayStation 3. You might even get all the DLC for free. We really don't know anything, and that's why you have to take all this stuff with a grain of salt. People could be lying to you, like if you watched Black Ops Amazing. A huge concern that I personally have is whether or not the DLC is going to make finding matches incredibly difficult like it did on other previous Call of Duties.
Hopefully not, but it would suck if that was the case.
Huge point of interest, but this game is potentially going to be running on those brand new servers that they are supposed to be using for MW4, which would be sick! If you didn't know, Call of Duty has been running on the same servers that Black Ops 2 ran on, literally up to this day on Black Ops 7, which is insane. Those servers are old and they're outdated as I'll get out, so they might as well upgrade now and give us a chance to play on them. Just go ahead, just do it. I'm not gonna fight you.
I'm not gonna fight you.
These have the potential to become the brand new definitive versions of these games.
Input lag is gonna be basically gone because you're gonna be running on brand new systems and hardware.
So it'll probably become the definitive version if you ask me. And I'm so forgetful that that's pretty much all the points I had in this video. So if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. I'm begging you. God, I'm gonna upload more content like this at some point. I promise you. And as for you, I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. Go ahead and let me know. I just want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, anything you want to say. Do you love the idea of these? Do you not like the idea of these? What's your opinion? We got to get some healthy comments and overall more discussions that'll help this community thrive, because Call of Duty needs it and you can help. Without further ado, I'm gonna end the video here.
Thanks for watching.